Welcome, all fans, geeks, nerds, weebs, and anything that's in between. Welcome to Fandom Fanatic. And today we're doing something a little bit different, but also very much the same. I'm back to talking about characters. I promise it won't be too long, I promise. And to reinstate that promise, I have an idea that hopefully will work. This was inspired by one of my favorite TikTokers, the Panda Red. Follow them on TikTok, they're really cool. So I made a wheel. This wheel is comprised of every fandom that I have created a character for. By created, I also mean finished. So we're gonna spin the wheel and I'm gonna talk about one of the characters that I've created. Probably the one that I have most connection to, or the one that I think has the coolest abilities. All right, let's spin to win. Oh shoot, I was talking about this morning! So, according to the wheel, today I'll be talking about the character I created for Skullgirls! I love this game. The entire reason that I started playing it is because I saw it online and a friend had previously, when I was in middle school, been a huge fan of it. And I was like, hey guys, this game looks pretty cool. And my friend group immediately bought it because they wanted to be better than me at it. I have amazing friends. Since this game isn't as popular as Arcane, which the first character was based off of, I'm going to explain a little bit about the world. So, Skullgirls is a fighting game, and it takes place in the fictional Canopy Kingdom, which is very much inspired by post-war 40s America, which, you know, that's an aesthetic that we've seen before. We haven't seen it before, and that's why I love this game. The entire plot is cultivated by a little girl named Marie who finds an artifact called the Skull Heart that has a legend that if you make a wish on it, it will come true, but there's a catch. You have to be a girl, and if the question isn't of pure heart, if the wish isn't of pure heart, you turn into this. Horrible payoff, in my opinion. Now, with all this lore, you might be asking, where does my character fit in all of this? I am glad you asked. This is Leroy Johnson, and he is a new deputy in the city of New Meridian. New Meridian is the main city in the Skullgirls universe. Growing up in the slums of New Meridian, Leroy is very much a come-up story. He didn't grow up with a lot. His parents were constantly, in debt, and they weren't doing well enough for themselves. But he was determined to get them out of that horrible place. So he was a paper boy to get most of their bills paid. But when he got older, he saw the merit in becoming a police officer. Specifically, he's a deputy, but you don't sweat the small stuff when you're getting paid. He went on a ton of missions, and he actually did relatively well for himself. He goes on a lot of stakeouts, most of which involving a group called the Medici Mafia, one of the most prolific gangs in New Meridian. All that goes out the window when Marie starts raining hell. Because not only are the Medici Mafia one of the most prolific mafias in the Canopy Kingdom, they sold her into slavery. It's the whole reason she made the wish in the first place. This story gets dark, y'all. The police are in no way able to defend from Marie's onslaught of bones and death. So Leroy says he's gonna have to start doing something. And it might be something that some people might not be a big fan of. Another small piece of lore, the government also funded there to be labs created to create either their own Skullgirls or weapons that could defeat one, just in case the Skull Heart starts doing its shenanigans again. And while cleaning one out, Leroy found a specific piece of equipment. The Step Heightening Utilization Force Fusion Life Enhancing Exosuit, or the shuffle armor. This is where we start getting into the fun stuff. The shuffle suit has the latent ability to absorb and start storing kinetic energy. And the way that Leroy does it is specifically special because he does it via tap dancing. Doing a ton of research, I realized that in true world fashion in the 40s, there was a huge upsurge in both capoeira and tap dancing in African and African American communities. Do you know how awesome it would be to see someone hit a flap and proceed to full force kick someone in the chest? So the police would definitely not authorize this piece of technology to be used as basically a weapon, but that doesn't mean that Leroy has to use it as a police officer. Yeah, we got a vigilante story on our hands. By day, he's everyday, mild-mannered, relatively looking out for the good of the town, Leroy Johnson. But at night, he is the clean, suave, flirtatious Shuffle, protector of New Meridian. So, yeah, that's my character for Skullgirls. So if you guys want to hear more about him, just let me know in the comments below or to the side, depending on what site you're looking at. And I can probably talk more about him when I have finished writing stories for him.